What is up, my Blackline crew? How are you guys doing today? Welcome. You guys should check out some behind the scenes work that the mods and myself and my wife had been doing. Well, most of the work was done by the mods. Glenn Coco and the other mods, Glenn Coco did a lot of it, was to make these emojis that you can click on the chat, and they should come up. Can some of you guys hit the custom emojis that we made? Can we see them float on the screen? They're not popping up. Earlier I saw them. Are they just going to be, hopefully they're not just for the, oh no, all that is showing up is, okay, I see it in the chat on, oh, is that the only place they pop up? They don't float? I thought they float on the screen. I don't see them on the screen. I only see them in the chat on YouTube, and I don't even see them on the chat on my StreamYard. It just comes up as their name, like the label. That's a bummer. All right, I might have to figure out another way to do it. Like when you guys hit the 100% or the thumbs up or the heart and it floats on the screen, do one of those. Can you guys do one of those? And we can see it? Like the heart or the thumbs or the 100% or the... Oh, no, it just... Okay, there it is. It's in the chat, but it doesn't show up on the chat on the screen. All right. I mean, you guys can see it. You guys can see it in the chat, in the live chat. It doesn't show up on the... you know, because I can show comments on screen. It doesn't show up on the screen, which is fine. But at least you guys see it. And you guys see there's one in there, custom one. It says... what is up with my face, because that's, I guess it is, without like intentionally doing it. It's something I do. All right. Happy Thursday night. Welcome to another episode of the Blackline Brief. I'm your host, Matthew McKim. I have white fuzz on my face. There we go. All right. As we come in, sorry to say, as we come in, please do me a favor and hit the like and the subscribe. It's how you can help the channel. Please and thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Well, I'm gathering my thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. A lot going online today. Couple things. You know, I kind of want to go over, we're going to get to the rest of my breakdown of the Brian Harpole, Sean Ryan interview. But first, I want to touch base on a couple things that I don't know. I don't remember if I covered it or not yesterday, but you know, the interview that Candace Owens did with Kirby Hall, I think that's his name, Corey or Kirby Hall, the guy that had a relationship, a friendship, a mentorship with Victor Marx. Candace didn't go live today, but she spent, you know, her show yesterday doing that video, that interview with him. And then Barron did a good portion of his show today, breaking down really weird things about that guy, about Victor Marx. Very weird things, right? Like he has that domain reserved that I'm not even going to say it. It's, you know, it's weird, right? Viral something. Oh, it's Viral Babes. That's really weird that he, so, well, maybe that's him, right? Supposedly, allegedly, that's him. The money, the millions of dollars that they poured into their, or from their organization into their property. Yes, that is strange. Don't know if it's illegal, but it's definitely strange. I will say, I know someone in the firearm industry down, you know, in Texas, in East Texas, where a lot of the work with the Fold AR was going on, and in Colorado. And I'm going to reach out to them because Victor Marx seems to be a pretty big name in the firearm industry. And the person I know of actually owns, like he builds guns and makes custom guns for people that, like wealthy people. And I'm going to reach out to him and see if he's heard of Victor Marx, and, you know, maybe I'll be able to get some juicy, you know, exclusive information that I could break to you guys on Victor Marx. So the interview that she did with Kirby Hall was super interesting from like a psychological perspective, listening to the tactics that Kirby and that Victor Marx and his wife employed on, I think it's Kirby, right? Was that the guy's name? I don't want to keep saying it wrong this whole time. I think that's his name. I guess I could even just look up that interview and make sure that was his name. Let me pull up my history real quick, and then I'll pull it up on screen. Candace Owens with here. Hold on. With, yeah, Corby. Oh, I was close. I was saying Kirby. Corby Hall of Fold AR, right? A lot of the tactics that Victor Marx employed are pretty fascinating to get, well, like a trauma bond too, but the whole, like, what did he call it? A tune-up or alignment, or a spiritual tune-up or a spiritual alignment, and then proceeded to get him to, I don't know, self-incriminate in a way, like self-report that he had, I guess, demons in him, and then Victor was going to expel them by verbally telling him that he's cutting his limbs off of the demon, or employing an angel supposedly, and Victor commands an angel to then destroy the demon. You know, what a psychological whack job. Like, totally breaks. So Corby, if he had just been detoxing off of, herb, weed, pot, Mary Jane, ganja, THC, as they were calling it in that interview, if he was detoxing off of, THC, he said he was also detoxing off of heavier drugs, but he didn't say what they were. And he said no to alcohol. And he had some, tendencies to, what is the way to say it without saying the S word, unaliving himself. And Victor knew all this. So just psychologically very fragile, right? Psychologically very fragile, very susceptible to influence, outside influence and manipulation, coercion, and control. And then you have someone like Victor Marx, who has the quasi title of pastor, right? He's also a pretty intimidating, figure. When you hear about his life story, what he's done, just physically, he could be an intimidating person, being in the room on someone's property in a house, and it's just you and your wife, and him and his wife. Like, this guy is off the walls, possibly insane, maybe even possessed himself. And poor Corby and his wife put themselves literally at Victor Marx's mercy, in his hands, in his house, to get him to the point where they had basically trauma bonded over a made up event, right? Like, definitely agree with Candace that he got Corby to admit some of his deepest, darkest fears, right? And I mean, there could even have been, and I do think Corby was incorrect stating that if you're a believer, you can't have demon possession. I don't know that that's a fact. I know plenty of cases where people were, from self-reporting standards, saved, whether they were Catholic or Protestant. And yet, you can have obsession and possession, right? And so when he said, you can't be possessed, but you can be, I think it's not obsessed. What's the other word? Why can't I think of it right now? When you're not possessed, but oh man, I can't think of it. But anyway, that these demons were attached to him, and then he was gonna get him out. Anyways, that, I don't know why I said all that. It's way too much talking about that guy. Super bizarre. I want to know what it had to do. I didn't get to the part where it had to do with Charlie Kirk. I got to the point where they were talking about the Fold AR that was sold, but then reported missing. I need to go back and finish that, where he ends up maybe tying it into being in Utah, maybe being used. Because my question would be, what does all of this have to do with the Charlie Kirk assassination? And I probably suppressed, no, oppressed. There you go. Thank you, American Lynn. Yes, oppressed. You have, yeah, and I was saying obsessed. No. So yes, Glenn said it first. No. Yep, Glenn. Nope, we have TNT said it first. Yeah, TNT. Good job. And then Glenn, and then Skunky said it. Obsession, possession, oppression. Yes. Anyway, yes. So they were talking about oppression, but I want to know how it tied into the Charlie Kirk assassination. Was she implying that, or was she asserting that one of the fold ARs was used at UVU that day? Because you guys think about Eagle Boy. They're 100%. He did not. For one, he wasn't Tyler. Number one, just stop. That's why I don't even call him Tyler. That dude is Eagle Boy. Totally different person. Whatever. They need to move on from that. Not Tyler. That person, Eagle Boy, did not have a Mauser, whether it was fully put together or broken down into parts, in his pants. Nope. Wasn't in his waistband. Nope. Wasn't up his back. Nope. It definitely wasn't in his backpack, right? Scout, survival, and who else showed the video where this former like Delta guy broke down? Is like a modern version, right? It's a sniper rifle, a hunting rifle, same schematics or dimensions, size of the Mauser. Broke it down into its pieces that it could in the time. And first of all, couldn't do it in 30 seconds. Took this guy in a calm state, not after just shooting someone, being, I just, took someone out and being on the run for your life. Was able to do it in like a minute or a minute and a half or a minute 45. And then you're talking the barrel's hot, the other pieces are hot. And guess what? It still didn't even fit in the backpack. The buttstock still stuck out. The tip of the barrel still stuck out. And so there's no way even a broken down Mauser was on Eagle Boy's person or in his backpack or anywhere. So it would have had to have been some sort of compact rifle like a fold AR. And I think that's why Candace is bringing that up. If any of you guys had finished that episode and you know what it was about, throw a chat up and you can catch me up on that. But I think that's what her point is, bringing Corby on, is not just to point out that Victor Marx is deeply connected to Erica Kirk and that he had full access with Erica Kirk on September 10th. I think that's when that picture was taken, when she's like crying in his arms. So it's either September 10th or September 11th, but that, Victor somehow knew of Charlie Kirk's passing, that he actually had passed away, that he was deceased before anyone else, and then subsequently took that post down. But that this person is very sketchy and has ties to Philly, wanted to arm the IDF to, probably do really bad things with those weapons in, Syria, Lebanon, Gaza, Palestine. And that this person had a falling out. Victor had a falling out with Charlie in the months leading up to the assassination. So I get why they're focusing on him and why it's important, because this person is deeply connected to these Calvary Chapel mocking pastors and to Erica Kirk, but also possibly could be how maybe someone got a hold of a fold AR that day. And even if Eagle Boy had a fold AR that day, you guys, I don't think he shot a bullet that hit Charlie, but somebody might have needed a weapon up there to fire a blank, or I don't know, fire a round into the back of the car. I'm not convinced on that. John Bray is. I'm not, but or just to be up there, to be caught on camera with something like an AR, so that when he puts a towel over it and jumps off the roof, it looks like there's something underneath it. I don't even think that, because when I see the video, I don't see anything in the dude's hand except for a towel or like a sweater or something, or a blanket, like a small like blankie, his cuddle blankie, like his security blankie. That's all I can see. But anyways, all right. I think that's why she's honing in on Victor Marx and Corby with the whole full day R thing. All right. Okay. Let's get back into yesterday's episode. I actually want to share a couple things first because yeah, it'll be good just to kind of break it up a little bit, and then we'll get into some of the rest of the Sean Ryan interview with Brian Harpole. It's already up on screen, but I'm going to switch it. Just give me a second. All righty. Yeah, I didn't play this one. Let's hear this.
Titling this first segment of the show "The Tale of Two Truths," because President Trump really he unfurled on a truth against some former supporters, including Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Megyn Kelly, and Candace Owens, in one giant Truth Social post. And we're going to compare and contrast the messaging of that with another truth in just a second. But Blake, your take.
Okay, well, we should, if you haven't seen it, we can't read the whole thing. It's pretty long, even for a Trump truth. But he does say, he dropped this yesterday afternoon, somewhat out of the blue. At the start, it says, I know why Tucker Carlson.
I don't want him to read this whole thing. We've all read it. My point in bringing this up is that you can bet your bottom dollar like Annie, if Charlie Kirk were alive and he was on this show, none of the things they've done since September 10th, Charlie would have been doing. I get it that, over the, past years, okay, if you isolate 2025 and you don't count that, but all the previous years, yes, Charlie was a supporter of Philly and Trump, and he trusted him. He trusted Trump, at least. I think that began to waver, like I said, if you were to take 2025 out of the picture. But I think 2025, Charlie started to have major concerns with Trump and those people around him. He would have been aware that Bibi had visited Trump and the White House 7 times in 1 year. In total, Bibi visited the White House 6 times over 4 years in the first Trump presidency. And in this one, within the first year, Bibi had been here 7 times, each time telling lies about Iran being weeks away from a weapon and that we need to go to war with them. And, if we already know that he turned Bibi's money down, Charlie turned Bibi's money down. He was turning his opinions, his philosophy, his stance on Philly, on, he had been pretty open from the beginning about October 7th and the war in Palestine and in Gaza. He was not for it. He much more was on the side of Tucker and Candace, but that he clearly evolved even more over 2025 with the bombing, the limited strike in Fordo. He didn't even want that, but and you could see that he was pulled in like 2 different directions on that show where he talks about it, that Charlie had to lean on his trust for Trump at that time, that it would just be a limited strike and that would be it. And that Trump wouldn't be back later, coming for more, wanting more, going, like what we have now. But if Trump were alive, okay, and here's the other thing, you guys, Venezuela had to happen first before Iran. For one, for the oil, the resources, right? Also, there's this really interesting video I saw on it had to do with our voting machines, and somehow they're either made there or there's some sort of tie to the Democratic Party corrupt use of these voting systems and how they've been able to pretty much rig elections, and that Trump and the Republican Party and people in the administration had found out about that and didn't want them to have that anymore. And there's even videos of, I think it's Maduro talking about it leading up to his ousting, right? But so China is heavy in Venezuela, the oil refineries. Venezuela is rich in oil and in rare earth minerals. It is strategic to, if they knew, and that's what I'm saying, like they knew they were going to war with Iran back in Fordo. Like they knew, because the Venezuela engagement was strategic and it had to happen. For now, look at everything that's happening. Like, I don't know. There's another video of that Dr. Kim or Jung, I forget his name, that Asian, that Chinese professor that's like really smart. And he talks about this whole new like infrastructure that Trump is trying to possibly build and make us independent of China and independent of, you know, the OPEC nations. Yeah. So I think that Venezuela was a strategic move that had to happen first before Iran. And I think if Charlie was around when if he would have seen what happened in Venezuela, he would have seen the writing on the wall. He would have seen it as a red flag. He would have seen it as, I mean, regime change and, you know, a foreign engagement, a foreign war, even though no one was injured. No American, you know, servicemen and women were injured, but he would have started to then question. You got Fordo in the summer of 25. Then we'd have Venezuela. Then the whole talk about Greenland. And then now we're back in Iran, and now we're full on war. The Strait of Hormuz being shut down, American servicemen and women being killed, you know, build up now, getting ready to put troops on the ground. Charlie would be on his show not supporting Trump, 100%. And so these two goons, right? These two goons, hold on, I know that's the picture, but let me go. Where's them two? These two goons and Erica Kirk are intentionally not telling the truth about what Charlie Kirk really would be saying, what he would be doing, what he wouldn't be doing in the name of Trump. You know, still nothing on the Jeffrey files. I mean, it's just unreal for Erica Kirk and these people to get up here every day and literally turn 180 degrees from kind of everything Charlie was doing at the end of his life. If they don't see how that doesn't put like this big freaking, you know, target over their head as like guilty and suspicious, then I don't know what the heck they're doing, because everything that they seem to be doing, in my opinion, points to, well, they would have had to take Charlie out of the way in order to do what they're doing now, because Charlie wouldn't have been doing this. 100%. Charlie would have not been doing this, what they're doing with TPUSA, what Erica Kirk is doing. Let me see. I'm going to pull up a video that we're going to look at. Let me pull it up all the way. Hold on. Where's the full one? I think Crystal might have sent it to me. I think I posted it, but wait, I don't remember if this one, I think that one has music. I can't play it. Hold on. Let me make sure. Nope. Hold on. I know you can't see it. I'm not pulling a Baron. I'm trying to do it before I put it on the screen so that we don't get hit with like demonetization or like a copyright strike or something like that. So I'm going to play this without the music because I'm not allowed to play music. But, and I had, wait, oh man. Okay. I said, this is what Erica Kirk is doing when no one's watching. 100%. 100%. This is Erica Kirk, you know, sun up to sundown every day of the week when the cameras aren't on her. And then when the cameras are on her, let's see. Let me go. Wait, I don't want you guys to see my conversations with people. Let me do this. I'll remember. Hold on. I want the full one, not the small one. Let's see. Where's Crystal? Here we go. Oh, I missed a call. All right, let's see. Where? Here it is. All right. I think this is the good one. Night. Pause. Yeah, 1:14. Cool. Hold on. Now I can make my face smaller. Okay.
In our kitchen area, I got the kids to bed and I was eating cereal. It was like 10 o'clock at night. That's a mom dinner, cereal at 10 p.m. And I was like basically standing there in the dark. And I looked over to the side of the wall. And when we first moved into that, we live in a small condo. When we first moved in there, Charlie and I put the Bible verse of James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4 alongside of it. And I stood there and I looked at it, and I was milk and cereal in my mouth. And I was like, count it all joy.
Okay, first of all, I don't even think the milk and cereal thing is a real story, right? I think it was just a way for her to do this. That story, that retelling of that experience of her in her kitchen eating her cereal, looking at this passage, that had to happen in order for her to say what's coming next. I don't believe that happened at all. And I say that on good authority. I'm watching her. And Zach did a great job of this today. So Erica has this issue, much like Kamala Harris. The words are coming out of her mouth, but they don't match her body language, her facial expression, and her emotion that she's supposed to be experiencing when she's saying words. They're just words. It's clearly like a speech, and she's memorized it, and she's trying to act it out, but it's clear that it's acting. It's clear that it's not authentic. It's not genuine. It's not real. And so that's why I really don't even think that whole cereal, bowl story even happened. Because this whole, act that she's about to do is 100% faked.
And I just stood there. Count it all joy. Being persecuted and lied about, count it all joy.
Someone needs to talk to her about her affect. Okay. Holy smokes. Look, I'm a clinical supervisor. Tell your staff to reach out to me. Okay. I work with kids on the spectrum, but I think that Erica Kirk needs my help. Okay. Or she needs, I forget, is it K Luck? I think K Luck is a BCBA. Erica needs a behavior analyst's help to get her to understand that her delivery is so off. The way she says things, to me, it's a direct window into her heart. And, let me go over here so you guys, I can make me big for a second. It says out of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? You can tell so much about someone's heart on how, and yes, people can fake it. Yes, there's outliers. There's exceptions to the rule. Okay. There's great narcissistic people that fool people all the time. All right. But for me, when I watch Erica and the tone in which she says things, how she delivers them with her face, her facial expression, her body language, she hasn't even convinced herself of this feeling that she supposedly experienced in the house eating the cereal, looking at this Bible quote. And the reason why I say that, she hasn't convinced herself. That's who in acting, right? You got to convince yourself of this first before you can convince anyone else. Because if there's any part of you that isn't convinced that you are the one experiencing this and 100% have bought into it yourself, it comes out, right? There's so much disbelief and disconnection in her performances from what she's saying and what she's showing us. So just, cringe. I don't like to say words because I'm 40, but this is freaking cringe, man.
You're being slandered, count it all joy. You're being lied about, Count it all joy. Your church is being persecuted. Count it all joy. There's graffiti all over it now. Count it all joy. You have people coming in and out of your congregation. Count it all joy. Count it all joy. One night.
Hold on, let me pause.
In our
What I also don't know, and Crystal, you always find stuff. Maybe you guys can email me or send it to me in my X messages, but wanting to find the full clip of this, like not just this 1 minute of this, like I want to see her full speech, right? Frank Turk got up there, right? Graham Allen did a freaking speech. Okay. Like literally some of the worst people, in my opinion, right now in Christianity, right, are fake, false teachers, false believers. And they're up there acting as if they are a representative for all of us. And they are being touted out as role models for the Christian youth. And in fact, even more so with Erica Kirk and the people affiliated with her, because her movement is gauged for college and younger, college and high school. And they even want to, go in junior highs. It's insane. But these individuals are being pushed out there as these role models, Christian role models for us, for our youth, and for, parents and families to watch and listen to take in what they say and then do their advice or their prescriptive, statements. They have, honestly, in my opinion, they don't have, and I'm not trying to appeal to authority here, but I'm just saying, no true experience that they could lean on, right, to be up here and do this. No education. They have no business being up here telling us what we should and shouldn't do, believe, think, say, act, when these people themselves seem to have no ethics, no principles, definitely not based on scripture, no Christian ethics, no Christian morals and principles. Their guiding light seems to be money, power, control, manipulation, coercion. And yet Frank Turk, Graham Allen, and Erica Kirk get put out here for us to listen to. And it's just insane. I want to go back to, so also, as she clearly practiced this, and I don't know why someone didn't stop her ahead of time and go like, I know you've practiced this a lot. It hasn't gotten better. Like your 10th time doing this for me, it's the same as the first. You're not doing any better at this. Maybe you shouldn't go out there and do this. No one told her that. But you can tell she practiced the delivery, the pace, right? She practiced the pace. Like there's certain inflections and certain points, pauses, pregnant pauses, and then she like speeds up to add emphasis, pretends like she's about to get choked up, but then doesn't.
basically standing there in the dark, and I looked over to the side of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And when we first moved into that, we live in a small condo. When we first moved in there, Charlie.
I don't know you guys for a fact. I don't know, right? But I doubt that it's a small condo, right? That she has to say small. It's a small, humble, and modest condo. If you look at their previous mansion and you look at her new mansion that's being built, I bet it's small maybe by their standards, like small compared to their old mansion and small compared to their new mansion. But I have a hard time believing that, and he had a home studio. Charlie had a home studio. Like, I doubt that it was a small condo, but she just wants to put that out there as if she's modest. They told her to go out here in, blue jeans and this like blue blazer type jacket, but they didn't tell her like, maybe you should ditch all the gold on your hands. Those are real. That's not fake. She's not putting fake gold on. Her fingers turning green. Are you kidding me?
And I put the Bible verse of James chapter 1, verses 2 through 4, alongside of it. And I stood there and I looked at it, and I was like, milk and cereal in my mouth, and I was like, count it all joy.
The way she looked at that, it's like she's never seen it before. She's like, I looked at it and I was like, what is that? Who's James? Why does it say 3:14? That's the time someone wrote it up there? That's weird. It's like she's never seen the scripture before. She's like, count it all joy. Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
And I just stood there.
Yeah, confused.
Count it all joy.
Okay.
Being persecuted and lied about.
Can you say count it all joy that no one's really lying about you? And you guys love to say you're being persecuted for your faith. Nope. Nice gaslighting. You're being questioned. And I wouldn't even say she's being persecuted at all, right? Like, our focus on her is because of what happened to her husband, and then everything her and all of her little minions did from September 10th to today. That's why the world's eyes and energy and focus is on them. And the fact that they act like we have no reason, no justification or basis for our focus on them is insane. Like, oh, we're just haters hating. Oh, we just don't like her because she's such a good Christian. We're persecuting her because she's so outspoken about her faith. That has nothing to do with it. And they know it. So she just gets up there and acts like she's, like a martyr that's alive being persecuted for her faith. She's in the,
Count it all joy. You're being slandered. Count it all joy. You're being lied about.
She's going to
count it all joy. Your church is being persecuted. Count it all joy. If there's graffiti all over it now, count it all joy. You have people coming in and out of your congregation. Count it all joy.
Wait, how is that bad? You have people coming in and out of your congregation? That's a good thing. You should count it all joy. And I like what Zach said. So does she look joyful to you? Wait, I'll let this finish and then I'll say my piece.
Count it all joy. One night.
You look very joyful. Yes, the most joyful. Let's see. Let me go back here. Zach made a good point, right? That she's saying, and I mean, I said it in a different way, but I like what he said about this, that she's supposedly retelling a story where she's eating and reading a scripture, and the scripture's a directive, right? It's like a command. It's not a commandment, but it's like a prescription, like, do this. You should do this. When you are, and it just hit me. He is talking about in the scripture, when you're persecuted for me on my behalf, on when you're persecuted because you're a follower and believer in Jesus Christ, count it all joy. So they totally are 100%. I don't know how I missed that for a second, that she's saying all of the hate, right? All of this negative publicity and attention and critique is because of her faith and her faith alone, just because she's a Christian. I mean, does she not know that the majority of the people that are suspicious of her and leveling most of our criticisms of her are Christians themselves? And honestly, we are called to do that within the body of Christ. We are called to judge one another according to their fruit. According to their fruit. Non-believers don't have fruit. I mean, they could have non-spiritual fruit, like they could be good people, and you can, I guess, interpret it that way, but she is not being persecuted for her faith. But there's that disconnect that she's supposedly supposed to be in joy. She's, but angry, right? But I'm counting it as joy. Well, you're not even doing that pretty, little Erica. All right, let's go to the next one that I have. Wait, before I'll get it. And I'm going to show you guys. Hold on. I think I put it in my, let's go to, it's different on the what is it called? Let's see. Applies. Boom. Yeah, here we go. All right. We'll start with this one. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm navigating it on my big screen, and I'm used to navigating it on my phone. Aw, Mystic. Thank you. Okay. So what? Your husband gets red rummed live globally. Well, you know what? Count it all joy. Erica, probably, allegedly, maybe, perhaps. Yep. I agree. I think she is counting that as joy. That's why I think I played that video of her dancing. I really do think that's her right before she goes out here and gives these performances. And then she gets back on her private jet and flies wherever she wants, eats, probably sushi every night, sushi every night. All right, let's play this.
You didn't do your...
Hold on. Let me start it from the beginning. Yeah, it's big. All right, cool. Ready?
Charlie Kirk saw that our colleges were indoctrination camps that were ruining our young people. But I would argue right back to you, church leaders, that we have seen a resurgence and a revival, especially in young men returning to the church. But what kind of churches are they returning to? I would argue that the next battle is at our very own churches or our own institutions.
Did you guys know who used to speak at all these, right? At these events? Charlie Kirk. Watch. It is so sad to see. Oh, what? Stop it. I didn't do that. What the heck? What the heck? That's so weird. I didn't do that. If I exited out of that, it was going to be bad news. All right, so I'm going to type in. All right. So, Faith Forward Summit, right? Let me share this. Make sure it's on the screen. Okay, cool. This is Charlie Kirk. And he's the one that used to lead and speak at the Faith Summit events, right? And now we're stuck with freaking Graham Allen, Frank Turek, Erica Kirk. It's just like
TPUSA Faith Forward event. This is one of our favorite events to do, all about equipping you, the pastors of this country, to be better prepared to be able to speak about liberty, speak about God's truth, both in your church and in your community.
Interesting. So Faith Forward is a pastor's retreat that pastors go to. And that's even more interesting looking at Graham Allen's statement. He's attacking pastors to their face. We'll come back to Charlie. Don't worry. Hold on. Here.
Institutions that are preparing and brainwashing the next generation of Christians to believe a gospel that is not the actual one. It is a watered down, Jesus is my homeboy, everything I do is fine, it doesn't matter, it's my truth, Jesus accepts me no matter what, which may be true, but with true asking for forgiveness comes with repentance, and repentance means change, and we have to do no more just acknowledging and accepting and this and that. You can come as you are, but if you don't leave changed, you didn't do your jobs.
Man, can they not get one authentic person to speak at their event? Can they get
be engaged politically is to protect your...
Can they not just get one person that's convincing? Man, can they just get one person? Can I just have one thing? Erica, can you just get one person that can get up there and authentically deliver the gospel? Huh? Can you get one person that can get up there? Not Brandon Tatum, not Ben J. Shapiro, not any of these hacks. Not you either, Erica. Step aside. You're not Charlie Kirk. You never were. You never will be. You need to stop. Freaking A. You need to stop. Someone throw that emoji. There's a just stop emoji with Erica Kirk in her eyes, her laser eyes. You can throw that up in the chat. Just stop. I just want to have, can they just get one person? You know? These are all just the worst people, man.
I always hear people saying, all I do is preach the gospel. I don't get involved in politics, to which I say, I guess you don't think the gospel is very important then. Why? Because politics affects your ability to preach and live the gospel.
So Christ did not come to make a political movement. He said that. Give to Caesar's what is Caesar's. He wanted nothing to do with it. The reason why he flipped the tax collectors, right, in the temple, it had nothing to do with politics, dude. You had made my father's house into a den of thieves.
If you don't think so, go to some of the countries I've been to. I've been to Iran. There's no First Baptist Church of Tehran. I've been to Saudi Arabia. There's no Calvary Chapel of Mecca.
Thank goodness, bro. There shouldn't be a Calvary Chapel of anywhere anymore. And I say that as someone that grew up in the Calvary Chapel movement. You know? Freaking Chuck Smith, Greg Laurie, Jack Hibbs, Frank Turek, big names in Calvary Chapel. All seem to have very, very suspect beginnings and, you know, dealings, a lot of allegations on a number of them. And then you have Mr. Baseball sign Frank Turek over here, who has time and time again lied about the stories, right? His different accounts for September 10th, the days before, where he was, what he was doing, what he was talking about, who was there with Charlie Kirk on the 8th and the 9th. These aren't honest people that they're putting out in front of us as these Christian models and examples for us to listen to. Right? It's like this TPUSA faith component was infiltrated and taken over. And now they're partnering with some of the worst politicians out there. Trump being one of them.
Just got back from Egypt. You want to start a church there? You're going to have trouble from the government. Why?
You think he flew on an Egyptian plane?
Because politically they've ruled it out. If for no other reason you need to be engaged politically is to protect your ability to preach and live the gospel. Also,
I mean, I do agree, like, that as citizens, right? He's like, he's conflating some things. Like, as citizens in the United States, yes, we should be involved politically and we should be informed, and our decisions politically should be informed by our faith, right? 100%. Okay. However, the church itself should not be a political movement. The church shouldn't be political, right? The change that should happen culturally within the United States happens by us believers living the gospel every day with everyone we come in contact with. That's how we retake our culture and our country back. Okay. It's not like, oh, we need to take over these positions within the political, sphere. We need a Christian president. Well, look how that's gotten us, guys. What has that done? Right. We need to elect this Christian. The sad part is any of the people that end up with the donors, the backing, the money to even get to the point where their name's on the ballot and people know who they are through the slogans and advertising, through the money, they're already paid out. They're already bought out. They're already not going to represent us.
because you're called to love your neighbor, and in order to love your neighbor, you have to put laws in place that protect them from evil. If you don't do that, who will? I always hear people saying, all I do is preach the gospel.
So bad. These people are just so bad. Where was the other one I wanted to show?
Charlie.
Stop it. Oh, Sort of Truth. I follow him on X. This was an interesting take. I'll play this for a second, and then we'll get into the Brian Harpole thing.
What Charlie did with his maybe 25 million social media following, with his TikTok, with his massive audiences, he was preaching that to millions of young men. And when I show you those graphs of young men rejoining the church, if I show you a chart right now from Gallup, which is the most accurate pollster in America, that says the #1 priority for young men who voted for Donald Trump is get married and start a family. That's the legacy of Charlie Kirk. That's Charlie Kirk living today and saving this nation with his work. What Charlie did with his...
You like how do you guys know, like, a legacy itself is, in my opinion, it's the work that he did when he was alive continuing on and having impact. It's not other people telling us what the legacy is. Like, we know what his legacy is based on all of his public appearances, everything he's ever said and done, right? Not all these people getting up telling us what Charlie's legacy is. It's just, man, I'm so tired of these people. It's unreal. All right, let's see. I'm going to finish playing this one little part of Charlie. And then, yes, I already have clips for the end of the show where we're gonna watch clips of Charlie. Okay. So I got them. I'm not going to miss that tonight.
And if we look at the American church right now, there are 3 types of churches. You're going to hear from Lucas Miles here in a second. There are true churches. You're sitting in a true church right now. Free Chapel Church is a true church. I hope most of you are running true churches right now. Here's the test of whether or not you're a true church. Did you, after the repeal of Roe versus Wade, host a celebration prayer service afterwards? Or did you kind of just say, yeah, a thing happened in the news this last week? Anyway, in other events, a true church is one that says, thank you, God, for your providence, for helping save this country and give us a reprieve. But
he is such a charismatic and eloquent and intelligent, articulate, convincing, authentic speaker, person, individual, human being. And so I just reject the, outright people saying that he was playing a role. He was acting. This was just a character, right? He was just playing a part. That none of us knew Charlie. None of us saw the real Charlie. I reject that. I reject that wholeheartedly. Yeah. I just don't think that there's any way anyone could get up there day in, day out, as many times, all of his public appearances, right? For years, just how consistent he was with what he believed in, how he spoke, how he acted, how he treated people. We would have caught him at some point having a weak moment, right? Being exhausted, being hungry, being cranky, that if he was playing a part, this other part of him, this real, Charlie, would have creeped out. It would have poked its head out, but we didn't. In fact, there's many, many clips of people throwing water on him, people throwing eggs on him, people cussing at him, people in person at these campus events. And he responds with compassion, forgiveness, and love. I think it might be hard for a lot of these people that claim that Charlie was fake because they're fake themselves. And so you see the world and other people through the lens in which you see yourself. And if you yourself are doing things that are dishonest and you're presenting a version of yourself for everyone on your channel and everyone online and even everyone you come in contact with in your town where you are, then you're going to be suspicious of other people doing the same thing. Just like when you're a liar and you're a thief, you think people are lying and stealing from you. You're paranoid of the thing that you do all the time. But if you're an authentic, genuine Christian with compassion, love in your heart, and you are who you are on a screen, you know, tired at night with your wife and kids, then you don't think, you're not walking around looking at everyone like they're fake, you know? No, there's real people out there. Charlie was one of them, and now he's been replaced by fake people. I think that's the sad irony of it, is that, you know, these same people that say Charlie was fake, right, and Charlie was playing a role in acting, they also seek to say that Erica Kirk and Andrew Colvett and all of these people loved and love Charlie, were his closest friends, and that these people are so genuine and real and could never do anything to hurt him. And the reason why we see them acting so strange is because, it's because he's alive and they can't fake real emotion because he's still alive. No, man. No. You know, like, do you know how many more people would have to be in on that, right? Like people that I do trust, like Barron, like Candace, and many other people, Tucker Carlson, Megyn Kelly. So get out of here with that stuff. Theo Vaughn. All right, let's get into the bulk of the show. Oh, actually, I want to play a couple things first, too. These were clips that I wanted before more time passes and they become irrelevant. I want to play them because they recently just happened. And so this is Mike Ritland. He's a former Navy SEAL. He had Mike Glover on, who's like a former Delta Force guy, special forces operator, both of them. And I've played that early on. If you want, maybe you guys, do you guys know which clip I'm talking about? Mike Glover with Mike Ritland clip. If you guys don't remember seeing that or have never seen that, I want to play it for you, because Brian Harpole, Sean Ryan, Gary, right? Gary Melton, Brandon Tatum are literally, as far as I can tell, the only four that I know of, at least, you know, public figures that are former operators, or, you know, for Brandon Tatum, I guess he did SWAT and stuff, but they're the only four that look at the event that happened at UVU with Charlie Kirk, looking at that assassination, looking at the shirt movement, looking at the necklace breaking, looking at the wound. That's strange. Looking at the way it bled, looking at no exit wound, knowing the supposed caliber, right? Those four people are the only ones that are pushing and believing the FedSlop narrative. Literally, like all of these other ones are saying, no, he was not shot with a 30-06. No way. Mike Ritland had one of the best SAS special forces, you know, British special forces snipers on, right? And was like, no way. They all believed something was detonated through the mic, through the necklace, under a shirt. They can't explain the shirt movement. They can't explain his decorticate posturing. They can't explain the wound, the pause in the blood. There's a delay. You see the wound, you don't see the blood. You don't see high velocity blood splatter. You don't see an exit wound. Let me see. Did anyone answer me on whether or not they saw the Mike Ritland Glover part? Yeah, I can't stand Frank Turk either. Golden. Is it Golden what? Golden Cat. Okay. Turk's a jive turkey. Yes, he is. All right, I'll play this part. But he has Chris Bustamante on, a former CIA operative or agent, or I don't know, agent.
Just generally speaking, when you heard about it, what your reaction to it was, and even more so, what that means for us as a nation moving forward.
You know, it's funny. I was just in New York as part of our book launch tour.
This I've watched a lot of things that, like, you know, Kiriakou, he's another former, like, you know, Intel guy that's gotten out and goes on all these podcasts, like Joe Rogan, Danny Jones, Julian Dory. and they're being pushed on us as if they are independent and honest, and like they left the agency to tell us the truth about everything. I gotta say, I used to believe that, but Chris's answer right here, first off, he doesn't even answer what his personal belief is on the Charlie Kirk assassination, but wait till you hear what he says.
And I wanted to be in New York for September 11th, and my wife was with me, and we wanted to show our respects at the 9/11 memorial on 9/11, 24 years later. So we were in New York, and as interesting as this is to me, it may not be interesting to you, I remember 9/11 crystal clear in my mind. And because I was in New York, and because of the scenario I was in when Charlie Kirk was shot, I will remember that for the rest of my life too. I was on set with another podcast, a major podcast in New York, and the podcast leans liberal. And we're sitting there waiting for lights to turn on and studios to get spun up. And one of the researchers sees on their feed that Charlie Kirk was just killed, just shot, right? This is the 10th of September, I want to say it was that the day he was shot? So it was 10th of September. It was about 12:15, 12:30, maybe Eastern time.
I got to say, it bothers me when people don't recall what date Charlie Kirk was assassinated on. Nobody forgets what day September 11th happened. Literally, it's like 9/11. It's like the date, right? It's ingrained in all of us. Like whether you, and I'm pretty sure Bustamante's a liberal and he's more democratic, and which is fine, right? But because I know that Charlie's assassination didn't affect everyone the same. However, it is as high profile as the JFK assassination. Everyone knows what day, what year, what city JFK was assassinated in, and we weren't even born yet, right? That's the kind of impact that the JFK assassination has had on this country. And the same thing can be said about Charlie Kirk. And so him like, what day was it? It just bothers me.
And this, if my memory serves me right, and this notification came across his feed. And that's all it was. And at the table, the question was, who's Charlie Kirk?
Wow.
So then people start looking up Charlie Kirk, and they're like, oh, he's this conservative youth influencer. And then the tweets just start piling up, and then they turn on the main screen, the main TV screen, and then we're watching Fox News because it's the only people covering it at the time. And we're watching Fox News kind of break this story. Meanwhile, the actual video footage of the bullet penetrating his skin and exiting, that footage breaks on the internet. And the liberal producers start passing it from person to person, having these incredible reactions. When you've seen somebody shot, when you see somebody die in front of you, you don't forget that. They'd obviously never seen anything like that, and the video was circulating, so they're seeing it, and they're exploding with like, oh, I don't ever want to see, I can't unsee that, and just like all sorts of reactions to it. And I'm sitting here and I'm watching this actively play out in front of me. I'm like, this is incredible. This is me watching one side of politics not understand the reality of life. And then, not 10 minutes after they were talking about the unforgettable view of watching somebody die, not 10 minutes after that, they start making jokes about how is it, I think their specific saying was something like, is it bad that I'm watching this? And I just kind of think like, eh. And again, I was blown away. I was like, you guys don't understand. Oh, you don't understand that the violence that we live in right now has become so ingrained in our culture that you are blowing off a person's life simply because of his political views. And that somebody took his life possibly simply because of his political views. And that we live in a country where educated, wealthy people who run a podcast.
Hold on, I'm gonna move to the part because that's all. Like he just.
I don't know how you sat there with your mouth closed. Honestly, you know.
Yep, that bothers Mike, right? That these people could be acting as if and speaking as if Charlie Kirk's life didn't matter, and that the assassination of him was whatever, right? And Mike goes, I don't know how you as a man, as an American, could sit there, listen to that, and keep your mouth shut. That's how I feel.
I don't think I would have had that same reaction seeing that. You know, I've never met the guy. Admittedly, I wouldn't say that I followed him all the time. I mean, I've seen a number of his interviews and, you know, some of his events that he's done at colleges, usually clips. I don't think I've watched a single either podcast episode he's been on, interview, or one of those events in its entirety from start to finish. But I've seen enough of it to have a good understanding of what I think, you know, he stood for and was about. And I am in most ways blown away with some of the reactions, but also not that surprised, you know, almost begrudgingly so, in that, you know, just to your point, you know, the trivialization of people losing their lives because they said something that you don't like or disagree with.
Yeah.
To me is such a window of time where you are completely isolated from everything in the outside. The rest of that day and even since, as we sit here the following Monday, it's shaken me and rattled me more than I'll not just.
I'm trying to get to the part where Bustamante starts talking about the assassination.
Before 2030, you know, over the course of the years that we've been.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. You know, the level of manipulation that's taking place is staggering, but I think, and how can you defend or defeat it?
All right, now so Chris never answers the question directly, and then just goes on and keeps talking about just PSYOP in general. All right, let's get back to our job, right? Let's analyze this guy. Okay, let's pick up where we left off, and then I'll go back and fill in the parts that we skipped over yesterday. But let's start up.
Give people CPR like that. You have to have something. So it's like, hey, okay, well, let's just get in the car.
You can't.
Yeah, but then
you can't apply direct pressure to move either because it's the neck and there goes the airway.
Right. And so
and it's just.
And I agree with that. The transition part, picking Charlie up off the ground and taking him to the car, people have said, like, and this is the fake deathers out there. Oh, well, no one was holding the wound. You know, I'm pretty sure one of them, we can't see a lot of their hands, right? There's one guy, he's the guy with like the dark hair, glasses. It's not Dan Flett. It's not one of the main guys. I think his name is Blake, a black button down shirt. He's the one that has blood on him, right? And so here's the thing, guys. If John Bray and others are correct, and even like doctors and trauma nurses, you know, ICU nurses have looked at the video and broken down and given their opinion that they do believe that the jugular was struck, and that most likely the blast that we see, especially in the higher definition video that like John's put out, the closer looked up, and you can see the concussion effect of the explosion, what it did to his chest and his brain. Most likely he was dead instantly, right? And then the jugular is what gets severed, which will drain the blood from the brain, which gives it that darker color and that thick kind of, you know, not texture, but, you know, consistency. And it's plugged by some sort of obstruction, which is either a piece of shrapnel from the mic or the battery or something, maybe part of the necklace. It's plugged. And then as it gets dislodged, the blood pours out. That would have been most of it, right? Heart's not beating anymore, drains the blood from the brain. Once he lays down, right, the gravity had already pulled what was in there out. There wouldn't have been a lot left, but I'm pretty sure we can't see their hands. One of them, I think it's Blake, because he's the one that has blood on him as they're walking to the car, would have shoved something in there, an Instaclot or two, and then they have to pick him up. So no one can hold compression on the neck wound during transit, right? And so, the fake deathers are like, see that no one's even holding the wound and there's no blood. And it's like, okay, hopefully more video comes out and gets released on X where we can actually see that side. So if I were Charlie, this side, people in that side of the crowd with their phones that captured better what the security team was doing with Charlie before they take him to the car.
It's damn near the worst.
And then like
place.
And then you don't give first aid when it's raining on you still, right? Or this first shot, second shot, how many more is coming in? So, and so I was like, hey, let's just call for exfil. So I called for exfil and said, let's go. The guys had prepped the car. So we're carrying, we trained officer down, I don't know how many times, or, person down. And we were carrying, and you can see it on the video. Rick breaks off at the perfect time. He goes around to the other side, jumps in. We do the drag. Don't try to shove the guy in. Half the team pushes in, the other half team drags from the other side. There's no comms for that. Just knew. He knew that's what we need to do. We've done that. He's done that. We've got careers built on doing that, real time and training. And so guys weren't helping. Justin gets in. He knows his job to drive. That's his job. Dan jumps in. He knows he's nav. And so we're back there. Rick, we pull him across. Frank Turek, and it just jumps in the back. And so he's a known. So I was like, yep, it's Frank, but I'm not going to fight him.
This is so dumb, right? This is I'm going to use terminology to, make me sound more credible, right? Turk is a known. No one asked about that. That has literally nothing to do with it. By this time in the investigation, everybody knows who Frank Turek is. Frank Turek did multiple podcasts the first week. He was on the Charlie Kirk show. He was there with Rob McCoy, Mikey McCoy, Megyn Kelly interviewed him. Nobody that, unless they were living under a rock that was following this investigation, didn't know, who Frank Turek was by this point, right? So we all know he's a known dude. Like, he's there with Charlie. He's getting out of the car, right? He tells his story that he showed up with Charlie. All this does, like him using language like this, is to try to certify himself that he is legit, experienced, knowledgeable, the real deal, right? It's just a total attempt to get Sean Ryan to hear words in the context and be like, oh, this guy's, he knows what he's talking about. He's a real dude. He must have not been part of this.
I'm on it. Frank's there because Frank's hurting, and it's because it's one of those things where you have dead kids on calls and you're not supposed to let the crime scene be contaminated, but I'm not going to deny a parent the ability to come in and say goodbye to their child.
Frank wasn't his father. Charlie never said Frank was like his father. Charlie had a father. Charlie had a good father, right? He spoke about this many times. Frank was never a, paternal figure in Charlie's life. He was at best someone that was shoved on him by this whole Erica Kirk, mocking pastor, Calvary Chapel pastor, TPUSA faith takeover. Yeah, maybe Charlie asked him questions. That's it.
And Frank's many times said that Charlie felt like he was his son.
Frank has said that Charlie felt like he was Frank's son. What? Okay, did Charlie ever say that? You literally went everywhere with Charlie. So if Charlie had ever said that, you and Dan Flood would literally be two of the best people to speak on that. But notice that he never says that statement.
I'm not going to deny him that. All this is running.
You should.
And so we get in.
All this is running.
Charlie was a big man.
Okay.
Long. we kind of laugh about it now, but
this is 2 months after. How freaking disgusting is that? 2 months, 1 day after the assassination. And he's saying him and the guys that were there that watched Charlie get assassinated, and it was literally their job to keep him alive, right? Like such a traumatic thing. He bleeds out in front of them. They carry him to the car. He's saying that him and guys on the security team, when they talk about this moment, that Charlie was big, pulling him in his dead, lifeless body into the SUV, they laugh about it. We laugh about it because Charlie was big, because he was so big and we couldn't get him in the car. I mean, you just can't make this up. This is the kind of people that were around Charlie. They laugh about the fact that his lifeless, dead, 6'5" body couldn't fit in the car. That's what they think is funny.
get him in, and but the door's not going to close. We know that. And I just say, go. And we didn't even attempt to close it. I told Justin, go, go, go. So he takes off. Dan's already got the route done. We know that because we've done it. And so we take off in direct action. We get out.
They've done it. They've done it. They haven't done that route. Even if they pretended as if they had that route picked out, they didn't. That hospital wouldn't have been the number one choice. That hospital, I mean, if they did plan it out, I mean, okay, yeah. Part of the assassination is to take him to a further away hospital, more time to bleed out and die, more time with them in the car to shove shrapnel in the wound, more time to ensure that by the time they get to this lower trauma level hospital that's further away, Charlie will have literally zero chance of surviving. But they go to the hospital that's the closest one, a higher level trauma center. Charlie would have a higher possibility of surviving. Maybe still would have passed, but that would have been the best and obvious choice, and they didn't do that. And so then, oh, we planned this. We did this route. Okay, maybe you did. Yeah, to ensure that he died en route. Yep, yeah, okay.
Out onto the main road, and we're in a slick SUV. No lights, sirens, and so we're breaking our own intersections. We're cutting our own traffic. We're doing everything ourselves. Justin's driving. I mean, he's trained driver. I mean, that's what our guys go to driving school for, just for that. It's expensive. It costs a lot, but it's a need, and it paid off because he drove like a champion. Dan's up in there calling out right lefts. Well, this is next turn, 200 meters left. So he knows exactly where he's going.
Why even tell, like, his whole, you guys, this is why I go back to this. His whole purpose of being on this show, okay, and then on the Gary show, is to exonerate them from any complicity in the assassination, any negligence that possibly could have taken place. They know that there is hundreds of videos from that day from different angles. They know by this point in the investigation, Blake Bednards is out there with the UVU review video and other people, and we're all trying to figure out what the frick happened, and we're not moving on. And in fact, we're going to put in all of this time and energy and research that they should be doing, that Erica Kirk and TPU say should be doing, but they aren't, okay? He knows that we are all putting them on blast online, video in 4K and everything. The UVU review video, we're breaking down all their movements, what they did, what they didn't do, all the signs, right? Because he talked about that earlier. They know that they are under the gun, right? That there's a target over all of their heads, and we are looking at them as the prime suspects for this assassination. They have to get him out here, right, to tell us all of this stuff to try to persuade us all that no negligence. No, No, UVU police, they were negligent. Yes, yes. Orem police, no, good. Us, good. Great. We have mountains of experience, just like there's mountains of evidence on Tyler Robinson. I wonder we should ask them to define terms. When you say mountains, do you mean like a canyon? When you say mountain, do you mean like a crater? Okay. I don't know that you mean what I think you mean when you say mountain, because we're looking at the evidence on Tyler and there's nothing. And now you're saying, like, what? Come on. Veronica Olson, how that was even allowed, did for them to pick a body from a crime scene. How come this guy and his team weren't fired? No, they were given bonuses. They were given raises. I don't know if Brian Harpole still, if Integrity Security Solutions still works for TPUSA. Dan Flood does. He got a raise. He got a promotion. And that was Charlie Kirk's personal security guard. Okay. Dan Flood didn't work for Brian Harpole. Okay. Dan Flood worked directly for Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk in TPUSA. He was Charlie's personal security guard. Okay. But he got a raise, right? But, well, it wouldn't have been a crime scene in the same sense that, like, did a murder happen yet? Well, they have us believe that he was still alive. So, yeah, they shouldn't have taken his body because there were medics there, right? There was, ample enough people there with the supplies to treat him on scene, stabilize him, and get the medics and get the box there, right? They call it the EMT, the paramedic box, ambulance to them. There should have been one on scene, right? There should have been one waiting out the back right there, right? With 3,500 people in attendance, right? The school and the security team should have ensured that at least one was on standby, but they didn't. And they did it on purpose so that they could do this, right? So they didn't have to properly treat him and treat the wound and stabilize him. No. We're gonna get him off the X because that's more important than anything. Out of the view of the cameras, get him into the car where no one can see what we're doing, and then take him to a further away hospital that's a lower trauma center. Yeah, they should all be investigated and prosecuted 100%.
Rick and I are in the back. This is where it gets not funny, but you look back on.
This is so weird. I can't get over the fact that this guy, 3 days, so 2 months and 1 day after the assassination, right? After they supposedly just witnessed their good friend, right? Their acquaintance, their protectee, their executive, member that Charlie's life was literally their responsibility. He literally trusted them with his life. That's literally why he hired them and paid them. They retell, well, Brian does, but he's saying that the other guys laugh too. So they laugh at the fact that Charlie's dead, lifeless body couldn't fit in the car because he's so big. And now he's saying, and we laugh about him being in the back of the car, dying or dead, bleeding or already bled out, en route to hospital, and that they can't shut the door. Like, literally, like one of the most traumatic scenarios I can think of. If I ever got to know Charlie, like, I could just imagine he'd be someone like I would have deep, feelings for, like, as a brother. Like, I have friends that I've known for a long time and we're like brothers, and that if I watched them get assassinated in front of me, die in my hands, I don't think I would ever be able to talk about that experience and say we laugh about it. No, I don't. I don't think any part of that scenario is funny in any way. In any way. The fact that they can't fit him in, the fact that they can't shut the door and his feet hang out the door, It's not funny in any way because the context is the reason why you're carrying him at all. The reason why Charlie can't get up and get in the car on his own. The reason why he's not sitting up in the seat is because he just was assassinated and he's either dead or dying. So the context matters of why you're saying his height and size and not being able to shut the door because his feet are in the way is funny. It's not. And it's like you and Erica went to the same horrible acting school. Like, oh, I don't mean to be morbid, but my husband's dead. Oh, merch sales. 250,000 people, guys. It's funny. No, it's literally not.
Now, Rick pulled Charlie across, and then I'm working off my kit.
How?
And you always, when you...
Hold on there, Brian. Let's check this. Check. We're going to check this. Let's check your retelling of events. Okay. This is the car. All right. This is the car, the SUV. This is the SUV. So this is the side that they pull him in on, right? The back right. So the passenger rear door. They pull Charlie across these seats. Charlie's head and upper body is on this seat. This is the seat, and I don't know why we can't see it. But there's the fray in the seat that Barron pointed out yesterday, and some lead metal fragments that are in the cracks in there. And there should be like a lead metal BB like right over here, but I don't see it in this photo. Charlie's upper body is on this seat. Rick Cutler is here, right? So on the driver's side, so the driver, behind the driver is Rick Cutler, right? That's, palm gun dude who didn't have a palm gun, okay? The guy that pulls on his sleeve that's in the crowd with the aviator type glasses. So Rick Cutler's behind the driver in that seat with Charlie's upper body, with the wound, with his neck and his head. Brian Harpole is behind the passenger, the front seat passenger, with Charlie's lower body, with his legs and Charlie's feet. And that's where Brian Harpole is. There is no physical possible way you're reaching from over here, because he says that he's also hanging out the door. He couldn't shut the door. Charlie's feet are hanging out the door. The door can't shut. Brian Harpole's butt is hanging out the door. But yet he's supposedly the one packing the wound and, rendering aid to Charlie's upper body, to his neck and to his wound. That's what Brian is saying right now.
You build a kit out like that, you build it to where the stuff you need the soonest or most important is on the outside.
Once again, so he's trying to explain to Sean, right, that Brian knows what he's talking about. Look, watch me take 5 minutes to explain how I build my kit out that only an experienced, knowledgeable, real, operator would know. And as I tell you this, which has nothing to do with what we're really talking about, other than to prove to you that I'm the real deal and you should trust me, help vet me, help exonerate me, help defend me, help get all of these people's eyes and their persecution off of me, because I'm real. And I really did protect Charlie that day. It just so happened that a 22-year-old furry assassinated him, and there was nothing that me and all of our former special operator or 14-year police veterans and all of us together couldn't think of a security plan to keep Charlie Kirk alive, that a 22-year-old college furry figured it out and was able to pull off this whole assassination of a lifetime. Yeah, no.
Died, right? And so all the bleed control is right here in front. So I'm just working out of the kit right there. And so I'm just, packing, pressure, repack. It gets saturated, take it out. You just keep packing on top of it. The problem is we're going down the road, and Charlie's so tall that his left leg is down in the door, and the door won't close. And so I'm on my knees with the door open with my butt hanging out of the side, and I'm on my knees doing the medical. And
this is what makes me say that Sean lost all credibility, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So Brian Harpole is on his knees on the rear passenger side in that captain chair with the door open and his ass hanging out the door. And he said he's using 2 hands and he's packing the wound. Okay. That's literally across the SUV, Charlie's neck and head, which is on Rick Cutler's side, that he's packing the wound with 2 hands. He just did this, right? And you take it out and then you put it back in, you take it out and then you put it back in. He's using 2 hands. Okay. But he's holding onto the door, keeping the door open. And then supposedly the person who actually is at Charlie's head and neck and should be rendering the aid to Charlie's wound is using his hands to hold on to Brian Harpole. These guys, man. Oh, but no, we're real. We're experienced. We know what we're doing. Yeah. Yeah. That sounds right. That makes sense.
And Justin's driving, you know, we're going 60, 80, 100. And Rick has me across the kit in my shirt so that I can use both hands to do the medical one. And
so you don't fall out of the fucking car.
So I don't fall out. And I just look at him and I don't need to say, you got me. He's got me. I know he's got me. Rick's a brother. He's got the tattoo.
Rick's a brother. He's got the tattoo. That's another like nod for Sean to be like, we're the real deal. I'm the real deal. Rick's the real deal. We're all the guys. We're the brotherhood. Okay. You vouch for me, Sean. I'm vouching for them. We're going to vouch for each other. This is a brotherhood. And we don't leave men behind. You're not going to let me and my men get slandered and accused and prosecuted, right? I'm telling you this. I'm on your show so that you can help save me and my guys. Don't leave a fallen brother behind, Sean. We're falling right now. We're taking fire. We're under attack. We need you to help lay down, suppress a fire. Cover our 6, Sean. We're wounded. Help drag me out, Sean. It makes no sense for Brian Harpole to be at Charlie's feet, hanging out the door, packing the wound with his hands, and for Rick Cutler, who should be tending to the wound, holding on to Brian instead of him taking care of the wound, right? It makes no sense.
And so I was like, he's got me.
Oh,
and so I'm just working medical. And Frank's.
How is he working medical, ladies and gentlemen, and holding on to the door? Because the door's open. He said he's holding on to it. They're going 100 down the road. How is he working it? How is he reaching Charlie's 6'5" neck and he's down at Charlie's feet on his knees? So he's not even like standing and like leaning. How is that even physically possible? It's not. Spoiler alert. It's not possible.
Praying out loud. Rick's praying out loud.
But does he have a pulse at this point?
So,
I mean, there's no way.
In a situation.
Hold on, let me gather this. I was about to say something, but then you just said no way. So now I gotta fix that because now I'm gonna work. This is a give and take. This is a symbiotic interview we're doing here. You're helping exonerate me without me even saying anything. You asked me a question, then you told me the answers. Let me fix it. Let me get it out. Oh, but Frank already said, like, I'm just a theologian in the back seat, and I had to tell the guys, like, guys, we need to do CPR. Frank Turek in the back seat is telling these combat trained, right? These combat medic trained guys what to do. Well, Brian Harpole's telling a story like, no, they didn't hesitate. They're in there, right? And him and Rick Cutler are going to work. They're just working the whole time. They're just doing everything. They're doing the most.
Question like that, I'm not going to stop and take
Yeah,
pulse.
I didn't know if somebody else
Right.
had one or.
No, and so I have SpO2 monitor there. I've got all the stuff for it. I could have put it on, but it's irrelevant.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
why? Because I already determined he was dead. Because in the planning preparation for this assassination, in my opinion, this is allegedly, we decided we were going to assassinate him that day. So come on, Sean. The whole purpose of an assassination is to take him off of the earth. Why would I render any kind of life-saving care? And why would I be caring about a pulse at any point? If I checked his pulse at any point, I'm not going to tell you. And it wasn't to see if he's alive. It's to make sure he was dead.
It's irrelevant to treating that wound, right? And so I've got to stop that bleeding.
Oh.
That's my primary thing. And so whether he had a pulse then, it's unknown.
No, whether it had a pulse or not, it doesn't matter, Sean. It doesn't matter. I mean, come on, trivial. Like we're talking half a dozen, whatever that saying is, 6 on the other.
The body's an amazing thing that can do things even when it's technically, destroyed. And so my concern is bleed control.
Yeah.
And so I'm just, Rick's got me, Justin's driving, world's coming by. I'm working, I end up putting about 36 feet of dressing in him.
Yeah, I just keep doing this so you know that this is what I was doing. Okay. All this stuff I'm doing with my hands, it's to make sure you know that like I was working that whole time. I was digging a sand pit in there and I was just like a puppy. I was like 36 feet. Give me a break in that much of a wound. Come on. What I would have given to been in there to these people, I need to chill. I need to chill.
And then 4 4x4s and then 2 hemostatic 4x4s.
Sheesh.
And then just pressuring the whole time. So you're adding just pressure as much as you can get, adding pressure. And so,
if I say it like over and over, it's like repetition. I'm getting this in your brain. Like, and I just keep doing this. I keep doing this. We're talking about Charlie. He's picturing Charlie and I keep doing this. And I'm telling you pressure and gauze and pressure and gauze. Like I'm convincing Sean, I'm going to convince you. I was doing the most to save Charlie's life.
We are heading to the hospital. It's a known. We're heading there, breaking intersections. We picked up a tail from PD somewhere along the way. And I know some audio came out about that. And I think they thought it was a secondary person that had been shot, but
why are you speculating? Like, just to throw, let's just throw some of this BS out here and see what sticks, just throw people off the scent. Just like,
we didn't know it was an active shooter. Everybody that says, oh, you should have treated him there and not moved him, stopped the bleeding. I'm like, well, yeah, I know. Same way. I was like, man, no, that's not, medicine doesn't happen on the X.
Oh,
nothing happens. Somebody shoots at you, you get off the X.
Well, no one shot at him, number one. And number two is no one kept shooting, right? Like literally everyone ran and nothing else happened. You could have assessed the situation and seen there was no imminent threat to your life. Okay, Mr. Experience. And you could have decided to render aid on the X because the X was no longer the X. The chair was the X. The X is gone. Charlie's on the ground. You have the hard surface. You got medics right there with plenty of bags and material and everything you need. And all of you guys and your little kit that you built out, I built out this kit from front to back so it's easily accessible so that I could work my way from the front zipper and then I just go boom, 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 and I got everything I need. But it didn't matter. But it's so irrelevant, right? Because not that kind of wound, right? Oh, because because Frank Turek, Mr. Theologian in the back seat, looked at Charlie, and Charlie's eyes were doll eyes. And so he was looking through us into heaven. He was absent with the body, present with Christ. So we decided in that moment, we weren't really going to, I mean, what are we going to play God? We're going to save his life. Like, no, he's already in heaven. Who are we to undo that?
Right. And so, and we didn't have cover. We had
Just for anybody that's listening, that is rule number one: law enforcement, military, any
Yeah. In like a real combat situation, dude. Sean, no one asked you to help him. How did you lose track of what your job is here, Sean? You completely sold out for this guy. For this guy. That's what you were willing to make your credibility flush. Your job isn't to stick up for him and defend him. In the beginning, you said you were going to ask tough questions. When are those coming? Can you ask a tough question, Sean? Can you phone a friend? Phone anyone. Call Mike Ritlin. Call Mike Glover. Call, what's his name? Rob O'Neill, the guy that took out Osama bin Laden. All of those guys said, there's no way Charlie was shot with a 30-06. No way. They all think it had to do with the mic or the necklace or something under his shirt. It's time to phone a friend, Sean.
security, anything. Get off the X.
Yeah. And
More
so
rounds are coming in.
But
yeah.
no.
And so we get to the hospital. Actually, we make it to the hospital through the traffic. We've got full wound pack in. We get out and we carry in to the door. Once we make it into the door, we see a gurney on the left-hand side. We put him on a gurney, and then I wheel him into a room. I start giving the patient information to the staff there. I end up getting on top of him. And
What, like his height, weight, weight and age? I mean, they are more experienced with trauma medicine than you. And I mean, literally all you would need to do is tell them what you think. Well, not even that, but like, just here's the wound. This is what happened. This is what we did. Get out the way. And then you get out the way and let the doctors be doctors. And you can go back to being a schmuck, sitting down and start working on your cover up.
and cutting the shirt that he had on off, that white freedom shirt. And so I cut it off so they could get to him.
Everyone argued with me. He said he cut it off, right? He said he cut it off. Where did he get the scissors? Where did he get them? Oh, he pulled out his medic bag again, and he unzipped it and he worked his way back into whatever zipper his scissors were. Okay, he's in the hospital. No. Your job is done. You failed, actually. Your job never began that day, unless we talk about your real job, which your real job was to assassinate him. So that job is done, but your job to protect him and save him, Okay, get out the way, Brian. The doctors are here. The trauma nurses are here. They take over. You're not still rendering medical aid in the hospital, you moron.
So that
Anyone knows that. Once he's in the hospital, I'm sorry, the doctor's going to be like, thanks, man, get out the way. Literally, he's on our premises. He's our responsibility now, okay? The Hippocratic Oath, that's their responsibility now. The moment you transfer him to them and he's on their bed, their gurney, you're done. You're not going to like just whip out scissors and keep rendering aid. They're not letting you. You're not a licensed medical professional. You don't have a doctorate. You're not a doctor, a medical doctor. You're not a nurse. They're not going to let you continue to do their job on the hospital grounds. Get out of here with that.
I didn't articulate this to them, but I wanted to get that stuff off so they could put a defibrillator on him.
Oh, okay.
And so
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then started talking about pushing drugs.
Oh, you start telling
And
what
so
to do.
I was-
Hey, I'm not a doctor. I just was a cop for 14 years. Yeah, you know the guys that you see bring in DUIs all the time, and we gotta make them give blood or urine, or they're rowdy, and we bring them in. Yeah, that was me for 14 years. Oh no, I caught bad guys. That's also what I did. My specialty was I went out and I found bad guys. But yeah, so I was a cop for 14 years, and that's informing my opinion as to what kind of medical treatment you should be administering to this critical patient. Yeah, listen to me. I'm the sheriff's here, guys.
Back and forth with them
Yeah.
on drugs and defibrillator. And so then, once you get that shirt cut off and moved out of the way, there's enough of medical professionals in there. And so I just want to get out of their way. And so I got out of their way and walked out of the room and stood outside the room and held guard on the outside door of the room so nobody else could come in there.
Covered in Charlie's blood.
Yeah, I had it all over my face.
Really? I can't show it here, ladies and gentlemen. But you can go on X and see the videos. You can wait, actually I might even be able to find let me see hold on. Sorry to burst your bubble. There's none. What was his name? It is dang it, I knew it yesterday. It's McClintock Wilson. Charles McClintock Wilson. That's what it is. All right, let's go. Let's see. Are there photos here? Okay, that's after. No, let me go back. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. I know you see my face. I know you don't see anything yet. Just hold on. I have to pre-screen it because if I put it up and they will not be happy. Well, we don't see. So this is them. Hold on. I don't know if I could show that. Hold on. Let me exit out. I'm going to show you, but I just got to find the right one that doesn't show too much gore. This is the back of their head. Hold on. I think there's one here. Let me go to the bottom. Yeah, that is weird too. He should have had way more photos than this. I bet he does, but this is what they approved to put up there. There's no photo of their face, but the video on X of the team of Brian Harpole and the rest of the team, none of them have blood on their face. None of them. So he would have us all believe that in the car somehow, and he's at Charlie's feet, right? But he's also at Charlie's head. So he's 6'5". He's at Charlie's feet, hanging out the door. His butt's out the door, but his arms can reach all the way to Charlie's neck. And at the same time, hold on to the door with one hand, but he's using two hands. And then all this blood supposedly gets on his face and in his mouth that he could taste it. And then he tells this story that he felt bad for the medical staff when they showed up, when literally medical staff, that's their job, is they see this stuff all the time. Stab wounds, people, being shot, bullet wounds. They work in the ER or the OR staff that was there.
Rick and I had it all over our arms.
No, they didn't.
From about here down was just covered. And
no.
Yeah, and it was, I feel bad for the hospital staff because we showed up looking like that, and they didn't know we were coming, even though we had called 911.
That's weird, right? If you had called 911, they would know that you were coming. If just one of any of your staff members, your security team members, called Timpanogos en route, like, oh, Dan Flood is calling it out. He's just like left, right, up here, take a right, 50 feet, take a right. We're cutting our own section, our intersections. Oh, it's red, go anyway. We don't have sirens. We're an unmarked car. We're just a regular car. What we did it that day was like, we were the best, but no one. So Rick Cutler, he's holding on to you. He's not rendering aid because you are, right? He has a left hand. Why can't he call Timpanogos? Huh? Why can't any of the security team members that are back at UVU picking up and destroying the crime scene? Why can't they call Timpanogos and let them know you're coming? So they didn't know we're coming, even though we called 911. Make that make sense.
But I don't know what happened. So we show up and guys got blood all over their face and carrying a guy with blood solid on my pants and shoes. And so then I just stood out there, and then finally this lady, and I feel horrible. She came up to me and she said, "Hey, come with me." And she took me in a room and physically washed my face and my hands and stuff. The nurse that was there at the hospital. So it's like, man, what humanity.
Man.
So you saw a lot of beautiful things, a lot of beautiful things.
The choice of words is just beyond me. I get that human beings doing miraculous, compassionate, amazing things, are good and amazing. But in the context of watching your friend get assassinated and die, I don't know I could express anything that happened that day as beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Rick was there.
Yeah,
same thing with him. He's going through the same thing. He's covered in it, and Justin's there, and Dan was there, and everybody's got this look of bewilderment, like, hey, and so I told Justin, I said, check on the men and call your kids, because I was worried about them. Because when we left, our guys went back into the crowd because they didn't know, because everybody was on the ground. So those guys that were still there, they went back in the crowd searching for other victims.
No kidding.
Yeah. Because they didn't know, because everybody's just laying there, frozen. And so once we got out of there, they went.
Oh, let's take a look, because obviously what this, screwdriver, this tool, is trying to tell us is that he somehow noticed this. Okay, well, look at the video of what he's paying attention to, and none of the guys rendering aid to Charlie and that take him to the car and get in the car ever at any point are looking in the crowd. They have no clue what anyone is doing. However, hindsight is 2020. And if after the assassination and they see the UVU review video, because, oh my gosh, if I was part of his assassination and it was televised, and then, whoever worked really hard to get the UVU video purchased and squashed, right? CBS or CNN or the BBC, two big news media outlets did buy it. They did get it, and then they killed it. Okay. Literally, if it wasn't for Blake Bednar's, none of us would have that footage. No one. So you guys, people can hate on his approach or things he says or whatever, but that video literally shows us, in my opinion, all of these people being part of it. Well, so they most likely after the fact, when all the heat started coming down, like, hey, we got to look at some, we got to see what's out there, please. Right. He even says it, I think, in the Gary Melton interview, like, we didn't want to see what people were saying and doing. So our wives, my fiance did that for me. And she would come to us and tell us, like, this is what they're doing. This is what they're saying about you. This is what's out there right now. So they had people running ops for them. Right. Well, let's take a look. Let me make sure there's no blood before I pull it up to the part I want to pull it up to. Hold up. Hold up. Oh, stop it. I turned the volume off, and yet it doesn't let me. All right. Man, and then it makes me, I got to exit out, come back. Please do not mess up my stream. So here comes Rick. Yeah, I don't see blood on any of their hands. I don't see blood on any of their faces. And here's why Refi freaking making a phone call, right? All right. And I want to skip that part because the cop is about to draw his weapon. And they're running off now. I want to get to the part where they go now. Hold on. Yeah. And this, I can turn it up a little bit. Not that much. That's really loud. So the camera is still up there. There's Chief Long literally walking over the crime scene. He is not sectioning off the crime scene at all. He's not making sure no one's walking through the crime scene. No one's taking anything from the crime scene, that the crime scene isn't being contaminated. Chief Long is right there, and he is actually partaking in destroying the crime scene. Look at what's in his hand, the microphone. Literally, he's touching the microphone that Charlie had in his hand. Well, actually, that might be the one that the crowd was using, because there's that. So it might not be the one Charlie had in his hand. That one might be on the ground, and this might be the one that like Hunter Kozak and them were using. Because let's see, does he pick it up from the ground? No, it's just right there. Why did you even grab it? Why are you even... Okay, just randomly grab the mic, talk, like test if it's on. Kind of makes no sense. But yeah, I'll just destroy the crime scene a little bit. Walk through the crime scene. Oh, let me back up because this is where we get... Here we go. All right, so Blake has pointed out that this guy in the red hat in behind this speaker pole. So this is Terrell Farnsworth, right? Mr. Charlie's dead. Charlie's dead. Mr. SD card, Terrell Farnsworth, right? That's him with the glasses, right? This guy behind the pole is a plainclothes officer or federal agent. He's got like a badge. It's hard to tell. And then this guy, this chubby guy over here in the blue with the hat on, is another plainclothes police officer.
Out fireworks.
There's Chief Long going through the crime scene, letting all these... Chief Long is right there looking. Well, I don't know if he's looking, but he's walking through the crime scene, letting other people walk through the crime scene. And then you have Terrell Farnsworth and whoever that other guy is. I don't think that's Philip. But they're literally standing where Charlie was assassinated and is about to pick up the chair and stand on it and totally take evidence and destroy the crime scene. So they're talking. They're trying to figure out how to do this. They're looking around. They realize PC. All right. So right there. Right. And this is, someone pointed out, like, Chief Long gets on the walkie at this time and like asks someone to come and, take control and to, I can't think of the word, but, lock down the crime scene, but he's right there. So he literally could do it, but he's going to walkie someone else to do it, right? What you see Terrell and that dude over there doing is what most people do when they realize that they're on camera and they're trying to be nonchalant because they're about to do something suspicious and illegal and they know it, but they're trying to hide it. And he's like, we need to get the SD cards. Yeah, we need to grab them. Yeah. How should we do it? Yeah, I'm not tall enough. The chair? Charlie was just assassinated in the chair. All right, you're going to grab it? We're just going to pull it? This is the kind of stuff that they're doing right now with his back so that we can't see his face and read his lips. Yeah, we need to get that. Yeah, we need to get it. What do we do? How are we going to get it? Thank goodness this guy had the wherewithal to record. See that guy? They have their weapons. He had his badge on him.
Safety team is here. I just heard them say the active
literally picked up the chair that Charlie Kirk was assassinated on. This dude right there, I don't think that's Philip. It might be Philip without his hat. I don't know. It kind of looks like Philip now, but he is literally standing where Charlie literally was pushed by Dan Flood, bled, and maybe even died right there. And he's standing on it. And Chief Long and these plainclothes officers are not doing anything. Is so bizarre. This is so illegal.
shooter, Charlie Kirk, has been shot. Charlie Kirk got hit, is what the security detail just said.
Yep, and he took the camera down. He's going to take the SD card out. And then he's going to go to the front camera, this one over here, and do the same thing. He knew that we need, and he, see right there, do you see that? Oh, we caught you. Watch this. Right here. Boom. He says they can see their recording. And Terrell looks right there. And he's looking at who is looking at him. Hey, you're being recorded right now, Terrell. They're watching you. They're recording you. Destroy the crime scene and take evidence from the crime scene. Now look around, Terrell, as you break the law. It's all on camera. Yep, get out of the camera's view now. Yeah, put it in your pocket behind the thing. We can't see you now. Yeah. Oh, what about the other camera? You got to come get the other camera? Oh, that is Philip Goldsberry. He put on his hat. His 1776 hat. When does Terrell grab the other SD card? I know it's on this view. Hold on. That's not Terrell, but it's going to be... Come on, Terrell. I know you come back while the blue shirt guy is there. Hold on. I want to find it because he comes back and he almost gets stopped by the guy in the blue shirt, but then the guy in the red hat waves him off and says, no. He can get it. Let him get it. And this whole time, you guys, all these security members and plainclothes officers are walking through the stands, or walking through the grass. And this is where we're going to see Butch Hibbs. They're walking through the grass, picking up pieces of evidence.
Hey, how you doing?
So there's Butch Hibbs right over here.
Definitely shocking.
But
here at the Charlie
hold
Kirk,
on. Out of nowhere, Butch Hibbs.
There was blood protruding, and I'm not quite sure.
Look at that. Look how weird that is, you guys.
I don't think
Okay.
he's going to survive this.
I agree with Blake and other people that broke this down. I think Barron did too. Butch Hibbs is way over there. And then he sees that this guy's an eyewitness and that Adam Bartholomew is the one recording, I think, and is interviewing this guy. And Butch wants to know what this dude is saying. So he literally walks from like 10 feet away to get in the shot and to listen in.
If you want my opinion. Unbelievable. I think he got hit in a very vital spot.
Did it seem like it was an up-close shooter or at long range? Any idea?
I don't know. It sounded like a higher caliber. It sounded like a higher caliber, like a 9mm. It didn't sound like a 45 or anything, but I don't know. It didn't sound that deep to me. It almost sounded like a cherry bomb.
Unbelievable.
It was a gunshot.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I'm in shock.
I am too. I can't believe it happened in Utah of all places. Where he has so much support, but obviously the opposition. Now we're looking.
These guys got to get out in front of the narrative.
Close and
Thank you.
no problem.
I was here to hear Charlie speak, or somebody else
All right,
told
let me
me
go
over
back
there.
to the interview. That was mainly the part that I wanted to show you guys. Hold on.
Back in and started searching for other victims and people that had been shot. And so
No.
I didn't know their status, and
No.
it was horrible, compoundingly horrible. When I jumped down on top of Charlie.
Hold on, let me read these super chats real quick. We got Go Max for Charlie. We love all that you do. Thank you, Jim Bear. We got Veronica. He doesn't believe his own words whatsoever. I agree. Yeah. We still got 195 people here. I'm not done, but I just want to see what, if you guys haven't done so already, can you do me a favor and just hit the like and the subscribe, please? And thank you. I appreciate it. It's the best way to help the channel. Okay. I'll keep going.
Charlie, my phone came out of right here. And so, of course, I just left it. I didn't know it came out. So I get to the hospital.
And that's a lie. He didn't have his phone in his front right pocket. He had the device in his front right pocket. And I forget what Blake's theory is as to why he said that. Oh, I think he said that so that he could, because he knew he was going to be on camera when the whole Philip, called him over, Brian, and him and Dan talked, and he went in his pocket. He knew that would be on camera. He would have to have some sort of excuse of why he went in his pocket.
And I don't have the ability to call my children and tell them I'm okay, or my parents or my fiance. And when I travel abroad, in the old CONUS job I do, I have a workup, and it's all the numbers and everything, and I have it hidden, and so I can call. But CONUS job, and I mean, I can still remember numbers from when I was in high school with my friends, but just don't remember numbers nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't call them, and so they're at home just suffering because I can't call them.
Oh, okay. We feel so bad for you, Brian.
So I was like, man, I can do better than that, So finally, got a hold of my ex-wife, and then said, hey, from somebody else's phone, I think via like Facebook Messenger or something. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, hey, we'll figure this out. And then said, hey, I'm going to answer the phone. And my daughter answered the phone, and she had already gone to her house waiting to hear something. And so there's always a concern in her voice, but
oh, here we go.
I said, hey, I'm good. I'm all like, there was a guy that said, that the mic blew up and it was a bomb.
Yeah, we were.
No one said it was a bomb. Micro shape charge explosive.
I was going to wait. Yeah, there is a guy online that is saying that the microphone may have had some type of explosive projectile.
Nope.
Inside of it.
Nope.
So it wrapped around.
Nope. No one said it had a freaking projectile in it. Ugh. Such a straw man. Okay. That's not what we said. a shape charge, but that a piece of the mic, whether that be a piece of the outside or the battery, is what went inside Charlie. Like an accidental projectile is what struck him.
Down the neck and created a hole.
That's the thing.
Nope. No one said it went around his neck and then created a hole.
That I just couldn't wrap my head around either, is the accuracy that would have to take place from an explosion to.
You obviously didn't listen. You didn't watch Stu Peters. You didn't watch Trigger Smart. You didn't listen to John Bray's theory, okay, that it was supposed to be a chest wound, okay, to simulate a 30-06 wound, but because of a confounding variable that they couldn't account for, an accident happened, and it did have a line of sight when it separates and it moves, lifts the shirt up, and goes over here.
Actually get you in the neck. But then other people are saying that there was maybe that maybe the explosion killed him, and that in fact there's actually some camera footage that somebody has done some type of assessment on.
Yep.
But I mean, you cut his shirt off.
Right.
Did you see any burn marks?
So
Did
that's
you see
my
any indication of any type of explosion?
Back it up even further.
No, don't back it up further than that. You little liar from Lierston. I can't show it. Gosh darn it. YouTube treats us like children. On X, one of Blake's videos shows them carrying Charlie off, not the UVU review video. There's a better view. And what you see is on Charlie's lower tummy, below to the left of his belly button. And when I have Mitch on, we'll talk about this. There's clearly burns. Charlie clearly has burns on his lower stomach. So yeah, okay, you cut his shirt off, whatever. There was burns on him, whether it was down here or up here. Guaranteed there was probably more than just what was on his stomach. That wasn't a blood smudge. You guys can go look for yourselves on X. It is some sort of like an abrasion and a burn on his stomach. So Brian's lying right now. There's nothing on his torso. Is a lie.
That you've been around explosives and shape explosives and stuff like that. It's like, what do you have when you have that? They had that down to like frames, right? Where was the flash?
There is no flash. Okay. MRK and her dad talked about that. So did John. There is no flash. It's like this chemical reaction that happens so quickly. There is no spark. There is no smoke. However, we do see puff of white. I don't know. I don't want to call it smoke, but vapors of some kind come out the back and out the front. You do see enough in the video to clearly indicate something exploded under his shirt to make his shirt do that and to break his necklace and fly it up over his head. And how can Sean not press him on this? It's beyond me.
If that was an explosion, where was the flash? You have oxygen exchange to create the explosion. Where was the flash?
No.
Where was the char? It didn't exist. And so,
do you know if his equipment is assessed before it's put on?
Yeah, it's actually held up there. That company that is a subcontracting company for them, they hold that all up there because, and they're around it, almost guarding it because people will steal it. And it's inside the non-permeable zone.
So people guard it. They guard it, right? So that's Philip Goldsberry, Terrell Farnsworth, who was communicating with Dan Flood, who was communicating with Brian Harpole when there was feedback issues, right? Right? Yes. And supposedly that's who was guarding the mic because people want to steal it. Oh, like they want to steal the SD card? No. Not because people want to steal it. Okay. It's a $100 million plus company. Can't buy a freaking another Rode mic. No, because the potential threat that he knows in the back of his head that it would pose because it's right on Charlie near all of his vital organs.
Okay.
So nobody has access to it. It's set up in there. Even the boxes are kept in there. And so it's inside that. And so.
Yeah. So he's saying that he's aware of this being something that could be used. It like he's not saying it, but he's saying it, right? That they guard this thing because they know themselves this thing would be a prime piece of equipment to use to assassinate Charlie Kirk.
It's on them, and then you can see they walk up and actually pin it on him. So that system is integratized.
It's not integratized, but yeah, they do pin it on him. Philip pins it on him, right? And Philip and Terrell are talking with Dan, who's talking with you, and whatever you're messing with is messing what they're messing with is messing with what's on Charlie, which is the thing that ends up looks like it explodes and ends up killing Charlie.
Also. And again, it's a reach. Go all the way back to where's the explosion? You got frame by frame.
Yep.
I'm, when that theory came out, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily out of the question. I mean, we know about the pagers.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, the way I looked at it was he was wearing a loose fitting t-shirt that had I believe the road mic with the magnet, strapped onto his shirt.
On the other side.
Yeah. He's moving around. And so that, that microphone, if it was a projectile, it would have had to have been pointed at the exact same spot, which would have been impossible to do with a loose shirt.
Right.
And so, and then there would have been an entry wound. It wouldn't have gone to the other side of the neck.
This is just how uninformed they are with what the actual theory is. Okay. All they would have had to do is just watch and listen to John Bray explain the theory and watch the videos that he's broken down. And they wouldn't be talking out their butt right now. Right. And that no one said it was a projectile put inside of the mic. Right. And that it separates from the body, the primer explosion, to create the standoff. Right. And then it shoots across, and then the shape charge goes off and hits Charlie in the neck. And they want to know, like, where's the explosion? Oh, show me where the explosion happened. Oh, you mean like right here? Like right here? Where? Right. Oh, let me back up. You mean right here? You mean that explosion? Oh, let me make it bigger. You mean that explosion? This explosion? This explosion? Look at his neck and his chin and his skin and his hair. Yeah, some people have theorized that the explosion itself probably killed him. The concussion, the concussive blast did enough damage, okay? And then the piece of the battery or piece of the mic or a piece of the necklace that hit him in the neck that severed his jugular. Yeah, and fake, Charlie faked his death people, the squibbers, right? Look at this. They cannot ever recreate any of this. Okay? Yeah. This much. Okay. This is massive, right? And this is just the beginning. Okay. And his necklace is broken. It's about to fly up over his head. Look at this is a huge, it's not a little puff. This is massive back here. And then wait till you see what's next. Boom. Look at this shirt movement. Look at that necklace fly over his head. Look at the cavitation in his torso. Look at this. Look at the deformation in Charlie's back. Look at the movement, how it's pulling all the shirt and the front of the shirt. Flies that. Look at with what energy and force this necklace whips. It like whips, flying up over. Something acted upon that with massive energy and force. And you can't fake the movements that Charlie did You just can't fake that. Any kind of trauma doc nurse is going to tell you, like, him locking up, and you can see his muscles and everything locks up. His knees buckle together. He almost pushes himself out of his seat because his legs try to straighten out. You can't fake that. It's all happening so fast. It's just so ridiculous to make those claims, in my opinion. All right. Well, we're at 2 hours. My tush is numb. Let me go back to, hold on. Somebody had sent me some things. I think we listened to this already. Hold on. Yeah, we saw that one. I know you don't see anything yet. Erica's speaking. We pretty sure it's just the same 1 minute. Yeah, it's the same 1 minute of everything. Thank you for sending it to me. What? Nick Fuentes was outside TPUSA today? Doing what? Gets kicked out of TPUSA? That's interesting. Sure. Let's see this. And yes, we're going to end with the Charlie Kirk video. Okay. Hold on though. Let's see this.
Am I being detained?
No.
No, I'm teasing. I'm sorry.
Literally broken no rules other than Chris at Israel, and I thought we're in America, not Israel. That was my take.
Yeah, the field rep said he was.
That's Jake Shields. Oh, wow. And Jake Shields just did an interview with Valhalla. I can show a clip of that tomorrow of them talking about the assassination. I'm pretty sure Jake is pretty liberal. He said he didn't agree with Charlie on anything. I don't know why they would be going here other than to cause issues. I just heard an issue with the mic. Hopefully, okay, it's fine. No issue.
Fine. I mean, no, we're in America, I'm pretty sure.
Does America doesn't feel like
Let's get Candace out here. Let's see
does it
what
feel like America?
Yeah,
the
security's just doing their job. I mean,
the
is there anyone we could talk to?
Who can talk
Yeah,
to?
this is from the higher allowed to walk around, go upstairs, or is it from the whole building?
Well, why doesn't the higher up?
Me?
Oh my gosh.
This guy's getting.
That's Brian Harpole. What the heck? What the heck? You guys, we haven't seen Brian Harpole. Thank you, Jim Bear, for sending this to me. You guys, we haven't seen Brian Harpole since Gary Melton. Okay. We don't know. He's taken off as working for TPUSA. Dan Flood, we knew because he was still on their website, and then they took him down because it was, politically incorrect, right? But we knew that he got a raise. We knew that he got a promotion for Dan Flood did. We didn't know the status of Brian Harpole. Well, now we do. He's right here, and he is working for TPUSA.
Well, why doesn't the higher up?
Me?
There's Brian Harpole at TPUSA headquarters working. There he is. Brian Harpole working at TPUSA today.
This guy's getting criminally trespassed.
You could just talk to the higher up. We're just curious why he's being kicked out.
Why am I getting kicked out? What'd I do? What?
We're just curious, and this is America. There's no reason he's being kicked out.
Hey!
What did he do?
I think I remember you.
I'm curious. What was his offense?
They're doing this now again.
Yeah, you should remember him. That's Brian Harpole. He is the security guard that maybe, possibly, allegedly detonated something under a shirt, which led to Charlie Kirk's death.
But why though? What did he do?
You got the wrong. I thought I was the
criticize
guy.
Israel?
I know.
Can you not criticize Israel in America?
Well, I do. It's because Israel controls this event.
This is an old clip? Well, when? Oh, is this before Charlie was even assassinated? well, Jim Bear. Hey, Jim Bear, you're the one. It says Nick Fuentes outside of TPUSA today. Today. Thanks, Jim Bear. You throw me under the bus. Can the chat speak up real quick and tell me, do you guys know when this was? When did this happen? Thank you, Jim Bear. I've never seen that. I've literally never seen that. But I know Nick Fuentes did troll Charlie, but this looks like it's after his assassination. Let's see. That's baby Nick. Yeah, it's Nick Fuentes, but sorry guys. It's okay, Jim Bear. Hey, it happens. It's all good. We love you, Jim Bear. Yeah, we do. It's from years ago, MRK said. Really? Okay. Dang it. Well, then scratch everything I said about Brian Harpole still working there and being there. Veronica, yes. See, and this is why I always nervous about playing things before I watch them and know what they are. All right, let's just go straight to, I'm going to go straight to the Charlie Kirk clip for today. Funny, good clips of Charlie Kirk to end on. All right, thank you. I don't want to put people's names out there. Hold on. Oh, yeah, this is a good clip of Charlie. I know this clip. Is it going to let me make it bigger, though? It's not? All right, hold on. Wait, I can't even restart it? That's weird. Hold on. Goodness gracious. Stop. Share. All right. Can you guys see it? It doesn't make me, it doesn't let me make it any bigger. Okay. But hopefully you guys can see it and I can make it bigger here and then I'll hit play. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I live what I believe. No. What do? I get charity every single year. Hold on. What's my salary? Hold on, less than it.
Charlie,
come on, Jake, let's go.
Charlie, okay.
I practice what I preach.
Charlie.
Look at Charlie in his like jeans and his socks and his little sneakers. This is pre Erica Kirk. This is real Charlie, right? Like just a very smart intellectual, did not care about style and money and bling until Erica Kirk came in and made him what she wanted.
Stop! You do not practice what you preach.
Charlie.
You live like a capitalist every single day, Shank. I live as a capitalist.
Look at his little shoes. I like his outfit. It just to me shows the kind of he wasn't focused on things of the world. You know, he didn't care about those things. It wasn't important to him. I'm gonna pull up another. No, how many clips are you gonna send me of the same Erica Kirk Count It All Joy? I got like 7 clips of that same clip. Hold on. Wait, is this one? Hold on, Crystal, you sent me one. Is that? Let's see. Yeah, I agree, Crystal. Fake and gay. Fake and gay. I'm in my email. Yes. Okay, I think this is the one you're talking about. Man, I have so many windows open. All right. Share this tab. Unmute and
that are against homeschooling.
Well, they can apply for a job from you in 10 years from now.
That's awesome.
You're going to be more polite, smarter, wiser, happier, more direction, more purpose, less corrupted, more understanding, more battle ready, better prepared, less confused, more biblical, more grounded, more Christ-like. If you are homeschool your kids, if you can, homeschool your kids. If they're scorning you or they're saying bad things to you, blessed are you who are persecuted in my name, it says James 1:5. So
Interesting. That's the beginning of the quote that Erica said was on the wall. Maybe it really was on the wall. All right. That's the beginning. And then it goes into counted as joy. Blessed are those who are persecuted in my name, and counted as joy.
a big fan of homeschooling. By the way, it used to be, the homeschool kids were quote unquote weird. No. The homeschool kids are wise.
Yes.
The homeschool kids, they're going to be the ones that are going to be running society. My money's on the homeschool kids more so than anybody else. God bless you. Stay strong. Thank you.
Good thing my girls don't watch the show. One thing I've never understood is how hold on, let me get to the point where you guys can see me, is how content creators will put their kids on camera. I protect my kids. Like I didn't even want to say like whether I had boys or girls, like I didn't even want that out there. But my kids don't know that they're going to be homeschooled next year. Babe, if you're watching and you're sitting next to the kids, don't let them hear this part. I mean, they kind of already know. We talked about it and they were like, no, our friends. I'm like, okay, I know. But honestly, public schools not everyone can do it. Not everyone can homeschool their kids. Both parents have to work. I totally am not saying this as a rule, but public schools are just, and they're getting worse even up here in Idaho. What they're trying to do to teachers, and it's making teachers want to leave. What little teachers, what little good teachers are left, right? They're paid horrible. They work too much. The classes are stuffed with too many kids now, like 35 per class. A lot of now, like the percentages is like 1 in 5 have a disability or a disorder, like 1 in 4 or something. I forget the statistic, that have either autism or on the spectrum or have ODD or, oppositional defiant disorder, reactive attachment disorder, or just have other behavioral disorders. And it's hard for public schools with the funding and the public education system to really teach. It's like the public school system is not even made to educate our kids. It's to teach kids how to become cogs in the wheel, And if you can, not everyone can do it, because like I said, some families don't have the ability to have one parent stay at home during the day. And I get that. And that's a tough situation. Honestly, the things that I'm afraid of, and I don't live in fear, but I'm aware of the world, is that like other kids can be really mean, right? Like really mean, the bullying and the teasing and the self-image issues. Then you have, I just saw a video today of a teacher, a 4th grade teacher, that just was caught and arrested for being involved in like a ring, a pedophile ring, and then you have school shootings. That's a real thing, right? Or, it's just, and then that's not even talking about the issues with like the education, like who owned the Rockefellers owning like the books and deciding what information and what history they learn, what math style they learn, and the issue with the education part of, the academic part of the public school system that isn't even preparing kids. And then I watched this video and they did studies that once public schools implemented like a 1-to-1 with electronics and teaching moved more with computers and tablets, learning and critical thinking went down, and it's never come back up. And then imagine COVID and post-COVID, what that did to the kids. and how that kind of initiated even another step further in like removing teachers from like really teaching and leaning more and more and more on electronics. They're dumbing down our kids. They're poisoning our kids, right? With certain ideologies and beliefs, false versions of history, partial whitewashed versions of history. It's just if a family is able to homeschool, you know, and some states now, like I know Texas and Idaho, there's all of these, you know, grants and financial incentives available to families that homeschool, right? And you can use that money to pay for extracurricular activities, club sports, and keep your kids active. If you're able to, I get why a lot of people, and I know a lot of families that have switched over to homeschooling up here, and it definitely, yeah, it's what we're going to be doing. So if you can, if you're able to, it's a good thing. It's something to look into, right? All right. Do you guys have any super chats you want me to get to? I got to all of them. Yeah, I got to all of them. And I want to find a way to engage with you guys. I wish my parents homeschooled me. I hated school. Yeah, me too, you know. So a little insight. So, you know, my mom divorced my dad before I was aware. I was like 2, right? I never met my dad until I was like 12. And then he passed away when I was 16. And so I never had a good like father figure in my life. I had really bad stepdads. And then my mom had this boyfriend, which was weird because she was like married to one of my really bad stepdads, but then was this other guy and he was really bad. But I lost one of my best friends who unalived himself my freshman year. And you know, I dropped out of school. Like, I think I failed every class freshman year. I ditched and made bad choices, right? I was experimenting with different substances to numb my pain and to escape my reality. And I didn't have anyone in my life to kind of point me in the right direction. And I wish I would have had someone, but you know, we all have to walk our life and learn the lessons God has for us to learn. But yeah, I pretty much didn't spend a single day of my, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 those years in school. I went to like different continuation schools. I got kicked out of them. I dropped out of a different school when we moved. And then eventually I ended up having a girlfriend when I was 18 who was like a good person. And thank goodness that person was in my life at that time, because she helped me get enrolled in an adult school. And she helped me do my GED. And then I took my senior year in credits and I ended up getting my high school diploma. You want to know what's interesting? For that school, my high school graduation, where I like did my cap and gown and got my diploma, was at my junior high. The junior high that I actually went to for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, Roosevelt Middle School in Oceanside, California, was where I ended up graduating for my high school, because I went to a place called, I think it was Vista Adult School. Yeah. Seems like you have a great community of folks here. Thank you for putting yourself out there for all of this. It's encouraging. I'm proud of you. Thank you, Devon. I appreciate it. Yeah, the community here is amazing. And yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you. I think I'm pretty proud of it. I'm pretty happy with the merry bunch of characters we have here. We seem to like each other. We show up every day. We hang out with one another, virtually here, through technology, and we make each other laugh. And yeah, it's a good group of people. But if you guys haven't done so already, please hit the like and the subscribe. It's how you can help the channel. And then I've already reached out to Jay Yapper, the professional yapper. He reached back. We're going to get something on the books together. And I had a very in-depth 3-hour conversation with Mitch Snow on all things Erica Kirk, Fort Huachuca, and the Charlie Kirk assassination. And I'm going to reach back out to him to, get a date and a time for him to come on the show. And yeah, stay tuned for that. I saw the poll you guys took on like, who should I have on first? Jay Yapper or Mitch? And like 73% said Jay Yapper. Let me see the widget. It doesn't say, oh no, sorry. 73% said Mitch Snow first. So I'll have Mitch Snow on first, and then we'll have on Jay Yapper. Keep coming back, Devon. We all need each other. Take care. Yeah, I agree, Chime Express. Thank you for that. Zebra Z said, I love the Yapper. Yeah, I didn't know that. It was so cool. Like, I really have. And so there's certain moments in this journey for me, this experience for me, that I'll have like, I'll get kind of choked up. And I think that happens because I do care so much about what I'm doing here. And regardless of other people out there, like other creators that like hate on me for whatever my approach to this, whatever, I'm doing what I'm doing, and this is what I'm wanting to do. I'm not trying to replicate anyone else's channel. But like I got to go on Jay Yapper's, well, I wasn't on his show, but I went into his chat, and he saw me responding in the chat, and he started talking to me live. It was a live that he was doing the other night, because Glenn and Mystic and a couple people from here go to his show. I think he does one live show a week, and on that night, a lot of our community goes over there afterwards. And so someone was like, hey, instead of going to watch someone else that was doing something that night, your time would be better spent here. Check him out. And I show up, and I'm like watching anonymously, not engaging in the chat. And I'm just listening to him and just how he carries himself, how he speaks, what he says, what he doesn't say. And I was thoroughly impressed, very articulate, very smart, seems to be of good character, a good Christian guy in this space. And yeah, he saw me and he was like, what up, Matt? What up, Blackline Brief? He's like, people have come over here and spoken so highly of you, which is you guys. I'm pointing at the chat. It's on this side of my screen. My community on their own. I had no idea. I did not ask anyone to do this. Would go and talk to Jay Yapper and say, Blackline Brief is a good guy. He has a good channel. And then Jay Yapper was like, so he checked me out and he liked the channel, and he has subscribed and been a viewer and a part of the community since. So, and I did the same. Once I found out about him, watched some of his stuff, listen, and immediately was like, I like this guy, and subscribed, and I stay tuned for his stuff now. After I get off here, I like shower, eat, and try to unwind. And so I try to find people that are positive and good. And he's now on my playlist of people I watch and listen to after I do this. Yeah, Coach Colin would be epic. He knows I exist. I know that. I've spoken with him through Instagram. I don't know if I'm never going to ask anyone. My one mistake ever was in the very, very beginning of this journey. I had reached out to a couple content creators. So I had reached out to Zach Costello and Danks initially, two guys that I had watched and respected a lot. And I had said that, hey, look, man, my name is Matt McKim. I started a YouTube channel called The Black Line Brief. It's a humble, but quickly growing channel. I'm proud of it. And I would just love to start the conversation of maybe working with you in the future. I never asked them to shout me out, to plug me, to have me on their show, to do anything for me. I've grinded this. I have done a show almost every day since the day I've started. Okay. I've only taken a few days off here and there because of like a medical emergency, my kids' birthdays, or me being sick, or you know, a night with the wife. Aside from that, and I haven't tagged myself and ridden the coattails of any bigger channel. Okay. I haven't been on a big channel. The only people I've had on my show are Entheogenic Esquire, who's a really cool guy, lawyer. I've had Blake Bednar's. That happened naturally. He subscribed to me on X, and that just kind of naturally happened. I didn't ask for that to happen. And then the whole Zach Costello coming on eventually happened when, what was it? I told him I was going to have John Bray on, and he was like, yeah, you should have Blake on too, and we should all do the four of us. And then that's when that set up. But I'll tell you the difference between like someone like Danks and Zach. When I sent the same wordage to Zach and Danks, the way Zach responded is how you would think someone would respond. And actually, you know, Danks's response was nice and positive, but it ended up being a lie, because it ended up being that he was doing stuff with Bays and other people after the fact. So, I mean, that is what it is. But his email was nice, at least, but it just turned out not to be true. But Zach was and is, I think, a rare, honest, stand-up, real Christian person out here. And I think Jay is the same way. And so I'm excited to get to know him and work with him. You know, I'm also a lot more hesitant now because there's been so much stupid drama with certain people. And it seems to follow those individuals around. And yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for everything you do. You guys are the best. I love you guys. Thank you for your support. It means the most to me. And thank you. God bless you guys. Love you guys. God bless. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay. Have a good night.